So this talk is about stuff you can read to enhance your math classes. There's so much here that I wouldn't even pay attention. Just copy the link that shows up on each slide and get all the references, links, and extras on the online version. Now, the godfather of recreational math is Martin Gardner. If you like puzzles, pick any book and you will likely not be disappointed. And since George Hart is here, I thought I would give a nod to By Heart, since Gardner's first newspaper article was on hexaflexagons, one of Bly's most popular video series. Now, Mathematics, a Human Endeavor is a textbook from 1970, but it has so many visuals for math, great problems, and it's worded in a way to help those who struggle. And even though I call it a textbook, it really just reads as a nice book about math. Now, though not a mathematician, Richard Feynman is surely joking Mr. Feynman, and what you care what other people think will have you learn how to think like a scientist, crack safes, and pick up girls all in one shot. Check the website out for a nice clip about how he complains about how we teach algebra. Two great books by John Allen Powell are Numeracy and Mathematician Reads the Newspaper. If you want to get a sense of how the media and society get math wrong, neither of these two books will do the trick. Now, a book that does much of the same thing, but is a little bit newer, is Math Semantics. There it is. It's a little bit newer than the college books. One of my favorite examples is this one about the distinction between percentage and percentage points that came out in the Bush Social Security cuts. Now, understanding how to learn from failure is super important, a great learning skill. And to Engineers Human, and more recently, Tim Halford's Adapt, are books that talk about just that, the importance of failure. Though a little dry at times, they both have excellent examples of why a mistake should not go unnoticed. Now, the classic, How to Lie with Statistics, cannot be underestimated. Even 60 years ago, it was produced. Tim Halford does kind of the same thing in The Undercover Economist on his BBC radio show and podcast, more or less. And if you only read one book that I talk about today, then it should be these three. I'm glad that got a laugh. Don't have time to read? I get it. And listen to the Freakonomics Radio and Planet Money podcasts that have an economics view of the world peeled back and revealed with hundreds of hours of audio already available. Now, stats are not for everyone, but even if you're not a stat head, you gotta be impressed by Nate Silver. He's predicted the last few elections with uncanny precision. So many examples of how to use probability and statistics to make a better decision in your life. And if we talk about probability, we cannot forget University of Toronto Professor Jeffrey Rosenthal, who teaches how to think probabilistically and has even been the probability expert on some of the crazy pseudoscience shows William Shatner has produced. And even though we're not geniuses at probability, it turns out that we are, in general, mathematically gifted. One of my favorite Hugh Devlin books is the one, The Math Instinct, with the dog that does calculus and the ants that use vectors. He's scattered about 30 other books into The Math Guy on NPR. Now, another math guy is Stephen Strogatz, who's turned the Elements of Math column into the New York Times, into the Joy of X. He does a great job of bringing math to masses like Michael Jordan, the calculus of Michael Jordan. And if calculus is your thing, you might like the calculus diagrams. How math can help you lose weight, win in Vegas, and survive the zombie apocalypse. And although she talks about not ever feeling like she was good at math, Jennifer Willett proves she can certainly write about it. You had me at zombies, Jennifer. You had me at zombies. Now, she has co-authored a math paper and has a theorem named after her. But Danica McKellar is trying to use her knowledge for math for good, not evil. She's written several books to help show girls that math is the bomb. Sometimes you might actually see her act and dance with the stars. Now, we can't forget pop culture. Simon Singh's new book talks about the hidden math in Simpsons and the Futurama, but don't miss his BBC radio series, 5 Numbers and Another 5 Numbers. And definitely go to my website to hear a clip of PhD mathematician Adam Spencer weaving math into his morning drive radio show, like Howard Stern used Fibonacci. In this book, he talks our anecdotes about the first 100 numbers. For example, 17 is the second Fermat number, and the number of sentences that Arnold Schwarzenegger spoke in The Terminator. If you are into prime numbers, then you might like the fact that this novel uses only primes for the chapter numbers. With math intertwined throughout the story of a boy with Asperger's syndrome trying to solve the case of a murdered dog is both interesting and entertaining. And of course, we can't forget beauty. This book of beauty and mathematical proof has 20 theorems, each done with 1 page of explanation followed by 1 page of hand-drawn images. And we can't forget data. Beauty and data. Once you watch these 2 TED Talks, I guarantee you, you'll go out and buy these 2 books, display them like art in your homes. Can you guess what this picture of Barbie dolls represents? Go to the website and find out. Happy reading.